Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to test run our Lambda function that we created in our last lecture. So let's go back to our project directory. We have our Lambda handler and serverless YAML file here. So there are two ways to test our function locally. The first one is to run inbuilt command that serverless provide by default called serverless invoke local and then the function name, and the other is to use a plugin called as serverless offline. For now, let's try to run our function using the invoke command. So I'm going to type in serverless invoke local, and then you have to provide the function name, which is hello world. If you remember, our function name is hello world from serverless YAML file. Let's run it. So our command seems to have hung and it's not returning any data back. There seems to be some bug in serverless invoke local function at the time of recording this lecture. So I'm going to press Ctrl C, come back out to my prompt, and what we need to do is provide some mock data in JSON format. It could be anything, and then press enter. So even though our hello world function is a get call, we still need to provide some data here. Oops, I made a mistake. There you go, we have our response coming back from our hello world function. So serverless invoke invoked this function hello world and we are getting back some data. So this is the same response that we had coded in our handler function, the module we were exporting as hello world function. So if we go back to our code, so we have the status code mentioned as 200 headers and then some data in our body. So we were sending back message as hello world 1, and we were sending back the event module that AWS is ingesting into a function when it's invoking it, and we are outputting it as the input value in our response. And if we go back to our output here, we can see we have the message as hello world, and also the input is whatever data we sent while invoking the function. So this was the first way to invoke a function locally. In the next lecture, we'll see how we can invoke our function by using a plugin called serverless offline.